Hi, welcome to class. What we focused on today was what are caliphs? Um, and please, just a quick reminder to make sure you do your questions of the day. So what we focused on, we first kind of talked about that caliphs are a fancy word for leader. So we kind of talked about in our warm-up question about what do our leaders look now? Are they really religious based? Or his religion is separate entity of itself? So what you do on the Google Doc is the first half of it, the questions are pretty straightforward. And I put the answers here in red that other classmates had put. So this is a good point. If you want to hit pause, you can. So you just read the source and answer the question that what is a caliphate? That when you go to the source, it's pretty much always the first sentence. So this class had talked about caliphates are the people that are in charge after Muhammad dies. So everything kind of revolves around when Muhammad dies. The faith of Islam kind of went into panic of what do we do now because they wanted to keep spreading the word of Islam. Source 2 asked the same question again because I wanted you to elaborate a little bit more. Source 2 talked about its government, that the key word is government. That not only is the caliphate in charge of religion, but they're also in charge of government. And that is really, really important because when we talk about class today, is understanding that for Islam in a lot of these countries that the caliphates are going to take over, that religion and government go hand in hand. And that's really going to influence people because if you really believe that your leader, like take our president, for example, if you believe your president is the spiritual person of your religion who's supposed to guide you, into the afterlife, people aren't going to question you. Which can be good and bad, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. Source 3, who was the leader? The leader was called a caliph, which literally translates to successor. When did it begin? 632 CE, when Muhammad died and Abu Bakr took over. The first 4 caliphs for source 5, that basically translates, I wanted you to just give me a summary of what does that mean. Those are friends and companions of Muhammad. They help make decisions. So why that's important, that our first 4 caliphs in history were all really close companions of Muhammad. They were good friends. So people had no problem following them because they were already well respected. They felt, hey, you were very close to Muhammad, so I have no issue following you. Eventually, though, over time, that is going to become a problem because once those men die, they're slowly going to kind of split and fall apart because then people don't know who to follow. So the next part that you're going to do, and when I try to explain the class, you're going to compare and contrast positive and negative of caliphs. Because caliphs did a lot of good things, but there were some things that weren't exactly positive either. I tried making this a T-chart, but what I told people, if it's difficult for you to format it, you could just write the word positive and copy down your answers, or the word negative and copy down your answers instead of trying to make it fit on like a perfect T-chart, if that makes it easier for you. So what you do, and the reason I don't have the answers is because there is no right or wrong answer. So when you scroll down to source 6, anything that is in bold, that is the information I want you to take. I want you to copy and paste. What is in bold? So let me clarify that. That does not mean you copy and paste the entire paragraph. I do not want you doing that. Only what is in bold. You still have to read this entire paragraph to really understand what is in bold. So this first one, the military was organized under the caliphate. I want you to ask yourself, would it be a good thing or a bad thing if our military was under control of a caliphate, meaning a religious leader? If you think that's a good thing, you'd put it next to the positive on your Google Doc. If you think it's a negative thing, that religion and government should be 2 separate things, you would put it as a negative. And I want you to do that with every single thing that is in bold, which is why I'm telling you there's no right or wrong answer because it is your personal opinion. It's how you view things. All right, this next one had a strong army and built towns, but it wasn't a sophisticated administration. What that means, sophisticated, because you're going to see that word a lot, means well put together. An administration is government. It's a fancy word for government. So they had a strong army and built towns, but they didn't exactly have a good government. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Copy and paste it into the negative or positive. This last one, they kept existing governments and culture intact. Do you think that's a good thing? Do you think it's good that Caliphates came in, they try to keep the same government, and they try to keep cultures the same? Do you think that's a good thing? You are doing that with every single slide. So the next one, centralized Islamic political state emerged. And to translate that, in case you don't know what that means, it basically means that politics were completely ran by Islam. Again, that whole theme that religion completely controlled government. Do you think that's a good thing or bad thing? I kind of try to push people in their trains of thought because in America, we're very big about freedom of religion. But I often see a lot of times people try to convey their political beliefs based on religion. So do keep in mind that we do see that. But copy and paste that into positive or negative. You're going to do this now for the rest of these slides. So wherever you see a bold, you're going to put it in either positive or negative depending on what you think. Once you do that, the final end task, which on your Google Doc, you might have to scroll down a little bit. It kind of got pushed down. The foreign performance task, this is where you have to write a paragraph. This bottom part is worth more points. You're explaining positive and negative aspects of the caliphates. You are allowed to use the same information as above. What I don't want you to do is don't just copy and paste the entire thing where it's one big blob of continuous words. You can copy and paste it, but just make sure you use connecting words like the, was, is, because, so that way it makes sense. Okay, I'm okay with you copying and pasting, but you need to make sure it flows in a proper sentence. So again, that bottom part, explain positive and negative aspects of caliphates. Once you do that, you can turn it in, and the other assignment we will do on Thursday. Bye.